It's been a pretty crazy last few days for me, to be honest with you. First of all, I've been absent here on this channel for a few weeks, I think. I don't know. It's just been so crazy, to be honest. I guess the first thing is that I had a laptop scare recently that kind of threw me off of my plans for a few days, but everything kind of worked itself out, thank God. My computer was shutting off intermittently, and it was acting very strange, so that threw me off at least 2 days, and I thought I was going to have to buy a new computer. This is a brand new MacBook Air that I'm using, and it's only a year old, if that. So that basically had some problems. It wouldn't turn on, and just extremely frustrating and utterly just frustrating is the word to really say. But anyways, eventually after reinstalling the system and having the computer shut off during that installation and having to do it at least 2 or 3 times, I eventually was able to reset the system and reinstall the operating software. But everything worked out all right, and so far so good. I had to go in there and do some tweaking, I think, and I think it fixed it. But anyways, if it happens again, I know what to do now. So that's good, and I'm glad that that problem is over with, and I'm able to connect to the internet and search meaningless crap for my time off. Anyways, like I said, I hope everybody's doing all right, and hope everybody out there is surviving and getting by the best they can. Some interesting things have come about recently. I've been spending the last yesterday, and I guess today is now yesterday. So yesterday, I was spending some time with my father, and I really enjoyed that. Was able to spend some time with him and talk to him. He's always busy. Always, keeps. He's one of those kind of people that is very physically active. He's very, very in good shape, and he takes care of himself. So that's good to see, and I'm glad I was able to spend time with him, and I'm going to continue that as well. It's important that men specifically spend a lot of time with their fathers if their fathers are still around. If not, then that is unfortunate. I really do appreciate my father very much, and he has been there, and we've both kind of gone through the ups and downs of what we had to go through. But it's just life. Um, I think the biggest thing that I learned and that really was interesting is that spending time with my father, I always love doing it because he has a very large property, and we work all day out there, and I do that every day when I have some time. And when I try to, you know, simply just escape from the internet and get off the internet, because this stuff just kind of gets really old after a while. Um, you know, there was a period of time in my life when I basically did nothing but sat in my room and watched gaming videos all day long, and that really got really old. And that's fun for a while, but let me tell you something. You can only go so much with monotonous activities that before it starts to drive you crazy. And I was at that point. So it's very important that men be physically active and do things very physically active as much as possible. I think I've said this before in a previous video I did, but, men need to be active. We need to be physically active. Our bodies are meant to work. We're not meant to sit in the house all day long or sit in a cubicle without some kind of exercise or something. And I think that's very important, and I think it shows, at least for me personally, that's one of the things I use to de-stress and to simply just relax and take the load off is to do physically demanding activities and labor work. I like working in the yard and cutting grass and stuff like that. It's just actually very soothing to me. And my overall psychological health, in terms of I'm no not in any kind of funk anymore, or any kind of depression or anything like that. Was able to sleep much better. I think the whole computer issue and a lot of other stressful issues kind of put all that into once because it all just kind of came crashing down, and you kind of have to just pick up the pieces and figure out what to do and what to fix. As anything in life. um, but anyways, I'm doing much better. I feel good, and I think that's very important that we, as men, specifically, make sure that we go out and we do these things like physically active activities if we can. It makes me feel so much better. I can tell you that. Anytime I feel in a funk or depressed or something, the best thing I do for myself is I simply go outside. I either take a walk or I do some work or something outside. But it helps me out a lot, and I think it's very important that we do that. We so much today. I mean, people just absorb their lives on the internet, and they don't do anything else, and they build their ideas upon the internet, and they build their ideas upon certain things. Excuse me. But I think that it's very important that we also separate the two because, one of the things I notice is the time when I spent a lot of time sitting at home in my room and really didn't go anywhere and do anything. I mean, the depression was off the charts, anxiety, depression, and etc. I mean, it was terrible. Really will drive you crazy, at least for me. And I came very close to simply just almost losing it. Um, because I simply didn't know the answers to fix the problem. And I was going to therapists and chatting with these people and all these fucking women that, they were talking about how I need to feel more feelings and shit. It's just, it didn't work for me. And eventually I kind of figured out what was wrong with myself, and that's something that men have to do for themselves, unfortunately, in this day and age. But you know what? It's not even unfortunate. I think it's very good that we figure out these things by ourselves because, like we talk about here in the Mgtow community, that nobody's going to be there for us. We're going to have to figure out these problems ourselves at some points, whether it be mechanical failures, whether it be life failures, whatever it could be. We have to be the ones to figure that out for ourselves, and I think that's why it's so important. It's also very satisfying to know that you have all this time you have gone through with your life and stressful situations that you're able to figure out the problems or at least come close or try your best to figure out to better yourself and to help yourself. And like I said, for me, physical activity and making sure that I just take care of myself the best I can, overall mental health wise and everything else, I think that's paramount and crucial. um, so the other thing that popped up recently was the fact that a company I work with, the CEO of the company, recently got into a scuffle with a woman that was the was the one of the people that was supposed to be working within the company. Now, I made a previous video a while back to a woman, this woman particularly, that was working in a business here, and she got basically the co-owner of this company was bringing her on board. He was very nice to her. He never treated her like shit at all, at least from what I see. Um, this woman was came on board, and they started fucking, and he got her pregnant. And all of a sudden now, about I think 2 or 3 days later, this woman has an abortion, or she had an abortion, miscarriage, whatever the context of it. She didn't actually get pregnant until not full term, but anyways, she ended up having an abortion, and it didn't work out. So it's just fucking crazy. I mean, first of all, when I made that video coming out of that meeting that one day, I was telling you guys I would possibly do a series about this, but this is pretty much the last episode of that, I guess, if you want to put it that way, because of what I'm about to tell you and how it all went down. So, which doesn't surprise me at all. I saw this coming from a mile away. So, anyways, in conclusion, this woman was basically screwing this co-owner of this company and decided to bring her on board, and she was going to be doing a lot of the management work with the company and all this stuff. Well, she didn't know anything about really managing this type of industry that I'm in, And she ended up not really, you know, pursuing that too far, to say the least. Several weeks later, they got into a scuffle, and turns out that this woman tried to threaten the co-owner of this company. That she tried to blame him on something I guess she didn't like that he said, and she tried to blame him for physically assaulting her. Well, she made a big deal out of it on Facebook and posted pictures to everybody. What was so funny about these specific pictures that this woman was posting on Facebook was that apparently she said she got a black eye. Apparently she was saying that she was assaulted or whatever. Barely could see a mark on her other than a potential black eye, which could have been something that was caused a long time ago. It didn't look like it was something that happened overnight, because if somebody gave you a black eye, your eyes would have probably swelled. That's the most common assumption, which, from the appearance, it really didn't look that way. So, anyways, I got a phone call from him as of last night, and he went off to talk about what happened. And he said that this woman basically was trying to accuse him of assaulting her, and right off the bat, because of what I know about Mgtow and taking the red pill and knowing about what happens, especially in terms of women and men, in terms of domestic violence, I was not. I was definitely not taking her side immediately, if at all. Simply because, we all know that, unfortunately, that women tend to become more aggressive and lie a fuck lot. So, funny thing is, fast forward to now, it's all true. This woman basically came into this company, screwing the co-owner, then tried to accuse him of assaulting her after being offered a position within this company, a head position, which she really didn't deserve at all, and had absolutely no business being a part of in my regard. But nonetheless, trying to accuse him of assault and trying to accuse him of doing all these things that, I've known this man for a long time, and I've never seen him do that. Now, what he does behind closed doors when I'm not around, that's his business, and that's why I left it at that. But, you know, like I said, guys, if you're in business with these women, be so careful. I mean, you really got to be careful. You can't trust any of them. This woman was nice. She was sweet. She never raised her voice. She was always trying to be kind and courteous and all this other stuff. And then turn around and look what happens. Like I said, I can't read people's minds, and people lie, but at least in this case, I'm taking this guy's side. And if it ever comes down to that position of actually having to testify on somebody's behalf, then I'm going with this guy, because first of all, this shit needs to change. Whether it ever changes, I don't know. That's not really my job to do that. Neither would I would want it to be.